Morning, kids. I'm fully aware you can't even see the difference between these ones and those ones, but the fact that they were busted and I had them in, if I'm gonna be asking good money for it, stuff like this, I can't be letting slide. So we got some problems to fix on this. I got a leaf spring to weld, which I'm gonna try to get done. I don't know if that's gonna happen this episode, but I need to get that. My number one priority right now is to turn off this little jingle in my pocket. While I would love to put that Chevy emblem on, that's probably not gonna happen this episode because I'm gonna wait and do that tomorrow. I want that paint to dry a little bit longer. That's why I wore gloves when I put that on. The fans, I want to get that taken care of. So, oh, and then I got to do those little mirror things, so we can do those too. I'll probably do this on both fans. New fuses, the fuse holder on the one, although it's working. Those fans, I'm sure, are supposed to run probably twice the speed they're running right now. So, and I found another relay, so I have a relay to wire in too. So it really shouldn't be a big deal, although this does say a low glow on it. It's still a relay, regardless, with thick wiring. So that should do us good. Right now, I forget which one it is. I have two fuses down here. One runs the lights, the other one runs the fans. I'm gonna take that fuse holder out, wire another fuse in, two of them, run another relay and put it right here. This is a fan relay. I'm gonna put this right beside it here. We got enough room just to add that in. So although it doesn't match, it doesn't matter. It's gonna work. So now I need to take all my loom and tape and stuff off of here so that I can see where I spliced them together and redo this all. Oh yeah, did you guys see that at the beginning, the self-inflicted wound on the Subaru? Yeah. I was rooting through my bench and that welding table fell over and smacked the door and put a nice dent in it. I'm gonna move the microphone and put it down here. I'm just gonna turn the key on so the fans run so you can hear how they sound. Because I'm pretty sure after I wire them separately, they're gonna sound a whole lot better. Or louder. Now, I'm going to be honest, I think as they got heated up, as I ran this thing, and the wiring got hot, I think it created more resistance, and I think they run slower the hotter this thing gets. So this should fix that problem. So let's start tearing this loom apart and tracing wires here. Why do they go inside the cab? Wait, that ain't the fan relay. What? Hold on. Hold up. What is going on here? I don't know what's going on here. Doesn't seem right. And I don't know what it is. Alright, I'll get back to you. Turns out I don't have half of what I thought I had for stuff. Found one piece of wire. I'm gonna have to get some more wire. I can tell you that much. Alright, so I'm going to just start cutting zip ties off and go into town here, figuring out what's going on. One is rewired. I used the what I had in here. I just cut off the one wire, so now it's only running through one relay. Put a new fuse holder in since that one was getting melty. Let's see how it runs. Turn the key on. Better. Alright, so now let me finish wiring up the other fan. I got to put a relay in, and I can splice that into the trigger ground that goes into the cab, and that'll be fine, because all that is a ground wire that triggers the relay to turn on so that the power can go through it. Not one relay and the power feeding two fans at once. That was dumb. That was dumb. I'm not an electrician, folks. I'm not electrical. Weak point. Do I know now that that was stupid? Yes. You live and you learn. You know what I mean? Life is a learning experience. If you're not continuously learning something, then you know nothing. I need to learn how to get loom on wires easier. Now all I need to do is clean up my wiring, and definitely do push harder. And I think, oh yeah, I think whenever it was getting hot, they were even getting drawn down even more, which did not help my situation at all. I need to get, I ran one wire over top, I don't know why. I'm gonna clean up this wiring, and then once it's cleaned up, I'll show you guys. But yeah, everything is wired correctly now, and hopefully we won't have any more overheating, but we're gonna have to start it up and let it run and see how that goes. So I don't think I'm gonna rewrap these in black tape. I had all these wrapped in black tape before. I think I'm just gonna zip tie them on there. They got loom on them, that's good enough. All right, it's time to monitor. So all my wiring is redone. I also labeled my relays this time. I don't know which headlight's which, but yeah, I got wires. I wish I would have did a better job over there, but I didn't feel like cutting wires to redo them, and yeah, they're tangled up a little bit, but they're both wired in. They both work now. So I'm gonna shut the hood and I'm gonna start this up, and I do have a switch inside that I can turn off the fans with. So let's go in here and do that. First, I want to see how loud they sound. They do sound a lot louder. I just think I figured out why. What is... I might have these wired to a bad ground. So I just figured out when I hit the brakes, the fans stop. Listen. Okay, so let's rewire some things here. I'm gonna run a ground straight to the battery, and then this should be the trigger ground. Yeah, let's redo that wiring. I don't know what I did there. Huh. That would be a really good reason why when I'm sitting still at a light or something with my brake on, it starts getting hot. That makes perfect sense now. So that just goes to show you what I am with wiring. A simple relay, I didn't grasp the concept, so I thought it was like a double ground and one ground triggered, went through the other one. No, one's a power and one's a ground. And the power, I don't know what that wire is, but I had it wired to a wire that was key on power until you hit the brakes. So now it's wired into the ignition. So now it should have power. Went right to the ignition coil, found the power wire. Let's see. Okay, no fans yet. I think I have this off. There they are. All right, so let's leave them off. Let's start the truck. Now I'm going to let this thing get up to 200-ish, and then I'm going to kick the fans on, and we're going to see if it stays cold this time. My alternator does not sound the best. I don't know. That belt needs tightened up. It might. That alternator sounds a little, I don't know, it might be detonating itself, but it's still charging. So we're gonna roll with that. Alright, so I sat here with my foot on the throttle for a while. It's creeping up over 210 still. Not liking that. Not one bit. I'm going to sit here and wait and watch it and see where it goes. I'll let you know if it gets up higher or if it drops. I'm going to make sure the fans are still running. Yeah, the fans are still running good. So, let's see where it goes from here. I just can't believe I had that wired to some brake switch or something. Must be something that goes to the transmission, I'm guessing. I don't know. Well, them fans are still throwing a lot of heat off that radiator, so my temperature is still crept up some. Let me see if I give it a little bit of gas, if it goes down some from the water pump flowing. That did make it come down some, so a little bit. So I'm thinking the high flow water pump is going to be our best option, which it's on the way. But I do need to dump the oil out of this thing and put the other mechanical fuel pump in that I have, a brand new one. So I think that's the next thing we're going to be doing. Yeah, get it real nice and hot and then work on it. That's a great idea. Actually, we have an event to go to, so I'm probably gonna pull this in, get it on the lift, then we'll go to that thing and I'll come back and this thing should be cooled down by then. right, so before I go, I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil out of this thing, the gas-filled oil. I'm going to leave the plug out, and we're going to let it sit there and drain for the several hours while I'm gone. Then when we get back, let me show you here. Water pump, water pump. Fuel pump is right there. 3 lines. This is the line that goes up to the carb. This is the feed line. This is a return line. They're held on with clamps. That one is a fitting, and there's 2 bolts that hold it in. Here it is, the Delphi pump that I got with the truck when I bought it. Here it is. Oh, that return line, I just noticed how small that, look how small that feed is, or the return is there. Looks like it only allows so much pressure back, but brand new. It's gonna look good on there anyways. So I think there's gaskets. I think I did, yep, gaskets involved, and I'll put a little bit of sealant on those as well, and we'll get it up in there whenever I get home. And after that, we're gonna have to monitor the oil in the meantime to see if the oil level goes up. If the oil level goes up, then we're gonna have to smell it and see if it smells like fuel. That's kind of like what happened this time. I noticed the oil level was high, and I drained some out. I actually used a suction pump and pulled it up through the dipstick hole, and I was like, man, that really smells like fuel. So if this is not the problem, it could be running too rich, which I don't think it is. Could be running too rich and it's washing down past the rings. That's a possibility as well. I think I would go out on a limb and say, even though this fuel pump looks brand new, it's because I painted it. That was the one that was on it when I bought the truck, and it's been on there for God knows how long. And he thought at one point it needed a fuel pump. He bought one, ended up not being a fuel pump, so he gave me that with the truck when I got it. Good deal. Alright, so we're back, and my wife has caught another victim. So she's been trapping all the stray cats in the neighborhood and getting them fixed. And she wanted to pet this one. Do we want to show the people what happens when you try to pet a wild cat? Do we?
It seemed nice when I petted it inside. Yes, I got, yeah. I got
gore.
A little hurt.
Not me. She even got it on. Anyways, let's see our victim here.
You could reach in and pet it, so I figured why not hold it?
Hey, kitty.
Well, it was in big numbers.
Hey, kitty. It's like, why I didn't agree to this. I didn't agree to this. We gave you food. There's food in there.
Okay.
Kitty cat. We believe she's a girl. We think couldn't find no gonads. Do you want to see if you can find mine?
No.
Guess not. All right. I got spring spacers, which I'm going to try to squeeze them. I'm going to try to squeeze those in the spring. I'm going to put all 4 in. 2 on each side. And then if it's too high, I can pop one out. Maybe. All I got
I'm gonna get a pea pad to put underneath that.
were these. They're just rubber, and you just squeeze them in the springs. And they're supposed to stay in there. Hopefully. Hopefully. Well, that's gonna have to wait for another day. As you can see, I can't get that spring apart to get these in. They make different ones from these that have a hex head on them, and they're like twist, and you put them in and then twist them in. I didn't like those because I thought that's not gonna stay in there. It's probably gonna fall out. And then they also make other ones that are supposed to lift your vehicle, and it's like a clamp that goes in the spring and you spread it. Might be smart to get that and then insert this in. I don't know which way I'm gonna go, but these alone, I can't get them in there. So we're gonna have to wait to do that. They're rubbing in the very center of that wheel well. I also thought about taking the tires off and then putting like a board up in there on my support and then lowering the truck down so it will push that up in. But I'm worried because I painted it and I don't want to, I'm worried that it'll crack the paint on the inside that I painted. So I don't know which way I'm going to go yet, but I've definitely got to try to do something to get myself a little bit more clearance. That's just not happening, and I'm going to end up hurting myself before I even get anywhere. So onto the fuel pump. All right, so I already showed this to you guys. There it is. We just need to get it out of there. There's 2 bolts on it. I don't know how hard it's going to be to get to the one, but I'm going to work on getting those lines off first, and then it's probably going to leak out. I might disassemble this fuel pump then once I get it down out and see if that diaphragm on the inside of it's tore. I kind of want to do that. So, or, you know, just see if it's working right. So let me get these lines off. These are old. Oh, I should think about replacing this line. I have some of that line. I think I'm going to replace that line. This one is hard as a rock, and it spins on there. Well, I need to go see what I have for fuel line. All right, well, I have them out. Let's compare. Okay. New, old. See, there's a spring in that one. There's not in this one. This one's got a lot of free play. And then I can see the spring. Why is there a... It looks like there should be a spring on the inside. There's a spring missing on this one. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, there's fuel in the oil, so it smells like fuel. But I was just trying to see if it was squirting fuel up past here. I almost got to just tear this apart and see if the diaphragm's tore, which I think we're going to do. But I'm going to throw this one in real quick, at least with one bolt. A little bit of silicone and stuff, and then we'll start tearing that apart. Well, I'll get to putting this back in a minute. The push rod in there fell down, and there's no way I'm going to get that in there to get the push rod to fit. Yeah, so I got to take the whole plate off that, and then put it all together as one. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll tear this pump apart. So this is the push rod that goes in there. I'm going to try to get grease on this thing so that it'll stay up in there. It might not. We'll see how that happens. But yeah, I need to try to get this to stay in there. And then I got to reseal the plate and clean up everything. All right, I got all that back in now. So now let's try to tear this thing apart if we can. I don't see a smoking gun here that this was leaking, so we're gonna have to monitor the fuel That sucks, but it is getting old and aged, and if you flip it up like this and look at the diaphragm there, it was getting to the end of its life. It was eventually going to tear. Yeah, I don't see a smoking gun here like it was leaking. The only other thing is it could have been leaking through the center, and I don't know that that even happened either, but there's a possibility. Now we just gotta finish plumbing it up, and but we'll see if it runs. There's another thing is it was, after it sat for so long, it was taking a while to start, and first off, I'm wondering if I was wondering if this lost its prime, but now I'm thinking if it wasn't this, the carb itself could be leaking as it sits. I'll have to take that air filter off and watch it while it sits, see if it drips. And that could also be where we're getting fuel in the oil while it sits. It could be dripping and it's getting down into the cylinders and leaking past the rings. It's a possibility. I'm just saying, it could happen. I'm so sick right now. I just chipped the hood. Like, I noticed the hood was about halfway shut when I brought it down. My track, the hood hit it. I shut my hood. I put a big old chip right there in the front of the hood. A little touch up on that. Now, let's see if the fuel pump is going to pump the fuel. I don't know. We didn't prime it, so we'll see. Very good. I'm going to take the air filter off now. I'll look down in and see if fuel's dripping. I'm gonna get a camera out and look down in there with the camera, see if we can see fuel dripping now that it's off. Another thing could be that I did put too much oil in the last time, but I had that Rotella in for a long time, and there's a possibility for me just starting it up, revving it, not running it anywhere, running rich all the time, that we loaded it up with fuel, and even though I changed the oil, I didn't change the filter, we still had a good bit of fuel in there that that's what made the oil smell like fuel. I don't know. I need to see what, if I pull the dipstick out. I need to sniff the dipstick. I don't always recommend that, but this time I'm going to recommend that. I can see it squirting the fuel in, and I can see it adamant. Look at that. You can see the steam rushing out. That's wild. So only these ones open and on this side, and I can't really get down past the squirters on it to look. I think it's all I'm going to get done today and this weekend, so I'm going to dig into next weekend. I'd like to, what time is it? 8:30. Oh, I kind of want to do that leaf spring so that I get this thing off the lift, because I need to lift tomorrow to change my dad's timing belt on his Civic. He bought his 2005 Civic, brand new, manual, in 2005. still running the original clutch. This is the second timing belt and water pump we're putting on. The only thing he's ever done was scheduled maintenance. Never had a problem with it. 240,000 miles on it right now. So we're putting the second timing belt in tomorrow. But yeah, not videoing that. I'm just, let's get this thing up. Shut the hood first. I did touch up this chip I put in the hood. It's as good as it's gonna get. I might try to buff it a little bit, but it does look better with a little bit of paint on it, as opposed to what it did. So I did sand the area with 600 and then put some touch-up paint on it, so it looks a little bit better. We'll try to buff that mark out. I got a couple other areas I got to buff on this thing. Passenger door has an area. That window pillar is where I blended out. I have an area, and now I have an area on the back of the cab that I scuffed a long time ago that I need to blend on right here in this area. So let's put this up, see if I can weld that piece of that leaf spring back on. I gotta grind it down first and clean it up. But here it is, and there's my penetration there, right down to the rust. That's where I started welding at. So I only had half of this thing welded. And like I said, this doesn't really, it's not a crucial piece of the leaf spring, but I would like for it to stay on there. So I'm gonna try to weld it back on there. I think I'm gonna use a stick welder on this thing. All right, right there's where we need a weld. You can see the bushing. Yeah, I'm gonna try to weld it in there. Is that a metal? No, that's rubber. So it might melt a little bit. Look at that, fits right in there. All right, let me get that thing back out of there and start grinding on it. I gotta take out.
One eternity later.
All right, so I am done for this weekend. Next weekend, we're gonna get more into this. Window regulator did just come today. I threw the emblem on. That really completes the look. Really completes it. Looks really, really good. I'm just letting it run now because I wanted to see how, you know, with a new fuel pump in, if it makes any difference to the temperatures. So far, they're staying down. I'm not revving it, but temperatures are staying down. So there is a possibility this thing was running on the lean side because the fuel pump wasn't working correctly. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out, but so far, I mean, I've had it out here running for maybe 10 minutes now. It's not even getting close to 210 now. So maybe it was a fuel pump. Maybe I should have looked at it, maybe investigated a little bit more. Maybe there was something in one of the tubes coming out. Maybe it was partially plugged or something. Instead of pushing it up to the carb, it was feeding it back on the return. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's staying pretty steady. So I screwed this down because originally it was just sitting in there. I just put my garage door opener in the back. Welded that leaf spring last night, and the reason you didn't see that is because my SD card was completely full it was late, and I'm like, I'm not running in the house to go get another SD card. So I had to drop the leaf spring to weld it. This is evidence that I did it, because that's from the weld spalls getting me. It's in there, welded in. Then, before I came in, I'm looking at this chip, and I did put touch-up paint on it, which putting the touch-up on it really, let's focus right here, really makes that not stick out as much. And then I polished that scratch and got rid of it, and then there was another one up here, and I polished it out too. I don't know where that other one came from, but it was there. But yeah, it's really not noticeable now. I mean, it's there, but you know, this thing's gonna get chips in it eventually. Polished this area out, it's shiny now, and then I polished this area up, and this is where the only area on the truck that you can see the color is off. It's right here, but it was dull right up here, and I polished it out too, which you can see kind of brought a little bit of the whiteness out. I think I painted these seals with like trim paint, and I must have polished some off right there that turned it white again. Yeah, looking and sounding good. I'm gonna go in and clean my garage. I need to really get rid of some stuff, but I need to clean it out big time. Then I'm gonna do my dad's timing belt, and then we'll get back on this next weekend. Temperature is staying steady now. Look at this. I bet you it was a fuel pump. Look where we're at. That's where it's been staying. Let's give it some gas. Looking good. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on that. Looks like it is creeping up closer to 210 now. I don't know, but we do have that water pump coming, and I think that's going to solve this issue. But it's definitely more stable now than it was before. There is also a possibility that that 180 thermostat that I put in is not working correctly, because that's the only other thing I put a brand new thermostat in. That thermostat might be sticking and not opening the whole way, and it's not letting coolant circulate the way it's supposed to. I don't know. It's at 210 now, so we will be, when we do the water pump, we're putting the 160 back in, we're putting the fan switch back in, because we're not doing fuel injection. This thing runs too good. I'm not ruining it. So me and all my wisdom, I got excited. I wanted to do a flush on this, but went ahead and pulled the belt. I'm gonna have to put some belts back on, because not ready yet. Oops. I don't remember which belt's which now. But to do a radiator flush, which I decided I want to do that. They want you to drain all the coolant out, fill it with water, and then you put a full bottle of radiator flush in and run it for 10-15 minutes on idle. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the water pump belt back on. That way we can flush this system out before we go to put the new water pump on. Now, typically, I wouldn't want to work outside over a hot engine bay, but we're doing this, so it's going to be warm in there. It's going to be fine. It'll be fine. I'm going to be sweaty. We're doing 3 things here. I think we're going to do 3 things. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm taking that temperature sensor off yet or not. This temperature sensor, I think, is touching the headers. You tell me. Is it touching? It sure looks like it's touching the headers. And that could be contributing to my hotness. So I kind of want to take that out, and I'll plug the hole and get my little grinder up in there and grind that header out a little bit more. As you can see, it's already been ground out a little bit. I could relocate the temperature sensor, but that's actually the more accurate spot to have it. And I thought I was getting hot spots there, so I want to keep it there. I'm going to be throwing the fan switch back in it where I put the fuel injection sensor, and then I'm going to be putting the 160 thermostat back in, plus the water pump. So we're doing it all, folks. This thing, it's going to run cooler. It's if it doesn't at this point, then we got to do engine work, and I don't want to, but this would be one of the easier engines to tear the heads off, get them machined, and put new head gaskets in and stuff. I don't think we have a head gasket problem. I just think that's why I want to do the flush. I want to make sure that all the coolant passageways are unplugged, and it just seems like where the temperature sensor is at, or on the side of the heads, that's actually where the exhaust is at. It's going to get hotter there, but it just feels like it's getting too hot. It's creeping, and I don't like the temperature creeping. I don't like creeps. Also, look at my new rack. I got this on Amazon. I wanted something to put all of my paint stuff on, and I was like, that's perfect. And then I want to honestly be able to move all my like engine stand and stuff like that over into that area. And I want to redo this tarp and stuff, but we'll get there one thing at a time. That was pretty, I think on Amazon, I had to look it up. It was fairly cheap, and it's like a 2,000 pound capacity rack. It's actually metal. Wasn't hard to put together either. The shelves just slide in. There's supports on the centers. These are like a particle board, but they're pretty sturdy. Yeah, pretty nice. All right, so we've been running about 10 minutes. It says 10-15 minutes. You can see it changed the water a little bit of a rusty color. I was expecting it to be worse, or hoping it would be worse, but it's really not. I'm still getting some bubbles, which makes me almost want to test this, do the head gasket test on it. Might try that. You're supposed to flush this out first. So what you do is open the petcock, let the fluids drain out, and while it's draining, fill it with water, and you're supposed to just continue that and let it flush. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So we're going to make a mess on the ground, but like I said, this is just water and whatever the flush stuff is. And I'm going to do that, and then we'll put a little bit of water in there, get it close to the top, and then I'll put the head gasket test on there and check it, and we'll see how that turns out. Fingers are burnt. We're going to put this fluid in this thing up to the fill line. We're going to stick it in there, start it up, and hopefully this fluid does not turn yellow. I think we're good. I'll show you what it does if you're getting combustion gases in your coolant. Right now, it's still blue. It's still blue. This is what happens when you have a bad head gasket right there, and your exhaust is getting into your coolant. So there you go. Hope this helps. Still doesn't mean we don't have a problem in there, but just knowing that it's possibly not the head gasket, that's a good thing. Did burn my finger I was thinking with me putting cold water in, it was going to keep this thing cool, and it really didn't. And I'm just thinking, I don't think that water pump's circulating enough. It is a cheaper water pump. I think I got it on Amazon or whatever, and just threw it in because I had the motor out. I was like, let's put a new water pump on it. So I just bought a cheap one. I don't know the specs on this motor. I'm starting to think that it has a mild cam and that it has a performance oil pump, and that's why our oil pressure is so high, which would make sense that it probably had a performance water pump on it too. I don't know why this truck would have had that, but it could have been, you know, part of the package with this crate motor that they put in. So I'm just going to do the right thing, and we're going to put a performance water pump back in. We're going to change the thermostat. We're going to do all this stuff. But right now, it needs to cool down a little bit because I don't want to burn my fingers. And I think what I'm going to do is do this drain and fill procedure here a little bit and let it cool down with the engine off. And actually, I'm just going to drain it out is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drain it out. Then we're going to get the top line off where the thermostat is and get it out. And then I'm going to spray cool water. Now, you don't want to like fast cool your motor, but it's going to have enough time from the time I drain the coolant and all that stuff. It's not going to harm it. It's not like real hot. It's actually, right now it's at about 190, which is on the lower side of where this thing's been running. So, all right, I'm going to get that out, and then we're going to start tearing this thing apart here and getting this thing hopefully cool, real cool, like me, a little bit, kind of. Am I cool? Do you guys think I'm cool? Do you? Do you think I'm cool? All right, so I just went down to Napa and I wasted some money. So I tried, this gap in here is big and the thermostat fits in there loose. So I went and got a thermostat gasket thinking that it would sit in there, and it's too big. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I thought it should fit in here better than this. You see what I'm saying? And when you put that housing on there, it's really not going to be much tighter. I mean, it's going to flop around in there. And I just thought that it should seal better. But apparently, that's the way it's going to be because this is not working. So, and I tried to get a different O-ring. They didn't have anything that fit that because this shows as a paper gasket. But that I have a different neck in Edelbrock intake, so we're not running that. So I got good silicone this time, the correct stuff to use, and we're just going to make sure that we seal this up good with the original O-ring. We're going to have to put extra on that because it's not perfect. And then we're going to have to seal up all this down here. So I need to get an air wand down here so I can blow the water out of that, because you don't want to get water in your silicone. I got to spray all this out then too. I want to kind of clean everything up. So that's why I put bags over the air filter. So whenever I do spray this thing down, I'm not spraying the filter, the intake. I'm going to try to stay away from it. But you can see the frame rails, how dusty and stuff they are. I want to spray them, make them look a little bit better anyway. It's a little bit more presentable. You can see where the water hit up there and clean that off. So, yeah, that's what I want it to look like. Alright kids, so I'm going to go put this temperature sensor back in the fuel injection kit, and it's going to go with that. This, I want to spray, I'm going to spray down the engine bay. I'm just going to hose it down as best as possible. Hopefully those frame rails clean up a little bit, and everything looks good underneath here. And then I'm not putting water back in it tonight, because that's just regular sealer, and you want to give that like 24 hours. But we're going to give it like, I don't know, 12 hours. It's going to be longer than 12 hours, but probably 16, 17 hours. We're going to come back here tomorrow. I'm going to fill it up with coolant. It's going to be in the garage. But let me clean up everything, get this thing back in the garage, and then, oh, there's something else. I got the window regulator. Should we try that? I think I'm going to leave that for a little bit later. I think we'll do the window regulator later. Oh, the temperature sensor, I did not take it out. I was going to, and ended up spinning it. And I don't think it's making contact now. Actually, I might spin it just a little bit more. I think so. I think I'm going to spin that just a tad. I just want to make sure it's not making contact. Alright guys, we're set up for tomorrow. We should be good. I'll tell you what, that water pump does look really nice in there compared to that other one. The other one was just a regular steel pump that I painted. And I will say, this pump is like half the weight of what that one was. Performance, yeah, the frame rails do look a little bit better. Not 100%. They're still wet, but they do look a little bit better, so that's nice. And then my belts match now. So, and I didn't hear my power steering squeak at all. So I don't know if I need to tighten that up at all or not. It's a thicker belt than the one that was on there, so it kind of sits up on the pulleys a little higher. Gets a little better grip. I like that. So, all right, come back tomorrow, put some coolant in this thing. We made lots of changes, so no doubt we should see a difference in the temperatures. We'll see. So, we'll see you then. All right, kids, it's the next day, and I'm feeling froggy. I think we're gonna put coolant in this thing, and I'm feeling like I need to put that window regulator in passenger side. So we're gonna do that because before we test drive this through Mexico, I would like to be able to roll that window down with confidence that I can roll it back up when I'm done. Or the confidence that I could roll it back down. Confidence that I can move it whenever I need to take it out, because if I could not roll it up or down, that would be a very fun job. Can somebody explain to me why 50-50 coolant mix is twice the price of concentrate? What? You're getting half the coolant. I mean, yeah, it's a full jug, but concentrate, you mix it with water, and then you get 2 jugs. And it's half the price. Who's pricing these things? But anyways, I always go out and get distilled water. I like to mix. I don't use hose water to mix my coolant up with. I use distilled water. It's like $1 or something. Wait, why not? You want like filtered water. You don't want minerals and all that stuff in your water. So I got to mix up one more jug here because I ran out. And we'll get this coolant in here, and then I'm gonna roll it outside to do the window regulator. Yeah. It's gonna be a good day, Tater. So currently how this thing is set up is there's a 160 thermostat in it. It's going to open up when it reaches 160 degrees. The fans are not running at all right now. There's a 180 fan trigger switch in the intake, and when the temperature gets to 180 on the intakes, the fans are going to kick on. So we're going to monitor this, see if the fans kick on. Right now, still not up to temp. This is a high flow water pump, so it's supposed to flow more. Was getting a lot of bubbles out of the bottom line, it seemed like. Not getting a lot of air out now. Seems like I might have got most of it. There's still a little bit. Yeah, now it's starting to get pretty warm. So that means we're still not up to 180 degrees because the fans aren't trying to turn on. And I left my fan trigger inside, so in case if we do have problems with that, I can still wire them in if I need to. We're looking at about 190 or 200, but you got to remember that temperature switch is in the intake and the temperature sensor is in the head. So the head is going to run hotter than the intake. Our fans still have not kicked on yet. Let's check my temperature. We're about 210, right around there. Let me get my thermal camera out and look at this thing and see where we're at. Oh, fans just kicked on. Okay, so that's working. All right, I want to see what temperatures do now. It's a little above 210. The temperatures are coming down. They are coming down. This might work out. It's looking good. Fans are running now. Let's see where it goes from here. I'm gonna continue watching from inside. Fans are running. Still burping the system. Bottom line seems to be getting a lot of air. Let's go inside and see what we're looking at. So it's down to about 210 now, and it's still dropping. Now we're at low idle. Let's see how this goes. It's definitely cooling a lot better now. This is where I want it to stay. It got up a little past 210, then the fans kicked on, then it dropped back down. And it's still dropping. So that high flow pump, I think, was the trick. Fans are still running, and they'll probably continuously run until you shut it off, because I don't think the temperatures are going to go below 180 on anything. But I'm just curious how low the temperature is going to go on the gauges here. Yeah, it's still dropping. Check it out. Now that everything's warmed up, It's a little below 210. I want to see if I rev it, if it goes lower. Yeah, it's dropping even more. That high flow pump was the trick. Did it. All right. I am gonna do the, man, it's going even lower yet. I'm gonna do the window regulator here. I need to pull it forward just a little bit. That's great. I wonder if my fan's kicked off now, because it looks like it's coming back up a little bit. No, fans are still running. All right, so I want to make sure that I got all the air bubbles out of the system. This is looking good. Do the lower line. Lower line, no bubbles. Looking good. Everything's looking good. I did have to readjust that lower hose there. This is the way this pump sits. That belt is very close to the hose. I had to slide the hose down off the pump a little bit and readjust the clamp. The clamp was just touching that new belt I put on there. Didn't mess the belt up at all. Now we got matching belts, high flow pump. What else could you ask for? We got everything going on here. I'm so glad this thing doesn't need a head gasket, and that was probably our issue, was the pump. Don't buy cheap pumps, kids. Yeah, temperature's staying down below 210 now. Check her out. I mean, driving would be the real test, which we're gonna try that. But let's get this thing outside and get this regulator on. Choke light came on when I shut it off. It freaked me out for a second. I was like, how does this thing even have a trouble light? Yeah. So I'm gonna leave this on here because this thing's gonna cool down as it sits, and it's gonna draw this coolant back in as it does, and then we can cap it off and everything will be good. I don't have to take that lower panel off. It doesn't do anything. It just covers the bottom. But we just have to take this top door handle off. There's a clip on these new ones, like a stock size clip. I got to get out of that. Then there's a screw and two screws here in the door handle, and a couple across the bottom, and one inside there. And that's all you have to do to take this off. And then I'm gonna have to put the handle back on. We're gonna have to move everything around and get that regulator out there. Pain in the butt, but needs to be done. So let's get to it. I was feeling real froggy. I went ahead and put everything on I had. Window regulator works so much better. This one was starting to grind and stuff. Yeah, that's what it needed. And then another thing that was happening, which was not helping that window go up, is this frame was, I don't know, when the window would come up, it would get on this side of the seal and then fold the seal in, the felt, where I bent it with my brute force, and now it stays in that track the whole way. Right around here, it was starting to pull it in, and then it would push that seal in tight, and the window was dragging on it. So that really did not help my situation. Now these caps, not really happy with how they fit, but I think these were aftermarket mirrors I got off of somebody, and these caps, they kind of, yeah, that's how they fit. But at least they're on there. It looks complete now. It's just that, wish that didn't stick up like that. Does it on both sides, so yeah, that's just the way it's gonna be. Not as bad on this side, but it does fit in there. So all right, we got those done. Now I need to get the wife's car out of here, and we're gonna go to Mexico. Maiden voyage, buddies. Let's I'll get back to you when I get to Mexico. It's a long drive. About to put the miles on this sucker. It's almost too cold with all the vents open inside there. Weather's a little cooler here today, where it's like 70 degrees. So I'm actually gonna shut my windows because it's like so much air noise. It's a little ridiculous. I can roll the windows up now. I wish I had power windows. Another thing I'm thinking about is like putting a sub-unit in this thing. Just one of them ones that has the amp built in. They're fairly cheap. I put a cheap one in the BRZ. That thing sounded great, and that's what I'm thinking about. I have a thermal camera. I'm gonna pop the hood on this thing where you check temps, but temps have been really good. Yeah, fans are running now. Yeah, the fans didn't run at all the whole way here. So I'm gonna get my thermal camera out. We're gonna check temps all around here and see what we're actually running. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. Let me get in here. Let's get in down right where the temperature sensor is. I'm seeing 208, 205. It's starting to drop. 206, 210. That's fine on the head. That's really good actually. 190. I saw 194 on there. 200 right at the sensor. 196. Let's see where we're running before the thermostat. 169. Let's see right where the temperature. The fans are on. I just put my arm on the radiator. That hurt. 170, 165. So technically the fan shouldn't even be running right now, but maybe the temperatures inside there are a little bit hotter than what we're seeing. Let's see what the top hose is. 155, 156. Let's see what the bottom hose is. 150, 149, 150. So that's what is our radiator running? 112, 113. That was hot on the arm. So yeah, we're looking good. The block is 168. The heads are 170. Everything is good. Now our gas mileage might not be the best because we're running cooler. 176 on this side, 180 on this side. Exhaust itself, 425. Yeah, they're hot. But when we get the top of the head there, 194. What are we running down here now? 210, 206. Yeah, we're looking good. All right, let's get inside. See, we've been sitting here idling for a while. Let's pause the music so there's no copyright. All right, we've been sitting here idling for a while. We're sitting right below 210. I say we fixed our creep issue. No more creeping. But I'm a creep. We don't want no creeps in here. Now, the only thing I'm scared of is I forgot my jump pack, and this thing has cranked over slow a couple times. But it's actually charging really good now. The belts I put on and everything. So we're gonna see how things go. I'm gonna go to a gas station and top this thing off. Hey, the vents are working. The floor vents, they're working wonderful. It's blowing right in on my legs. I like it. I got a little bit of wind noise, and I feel like it's coming from the vent window over here. It sounds like it's coming from over here. I don't know what that noise is. Well, I'm pretty good with that. I mean, she kept temperature really well. I did a bunch of low-speed driving just now, just putting around town, and our temperature seems to be doing good. Now, the last thing we really need to do with this thing is just monitor the oil. Make sure that oil level doesn't come up and start to smell like fuel. If it does, my only guess is intake gasket. Probably not sealing, so the gas is seeping down past the intake, which that's not a huge. I mean, it's a job, but it's still, it's better than having to take the heads off. Okay, I'm gonna run thermal imaging on this thing one last time, just to check things out, see how we're doing, because it is right above 210. But I want to see what it's actually showing on thermal. So I'm gonna plug this in and check it out. All right, let's get down in here where the temperature sensor is. And we're seeing 220, 225. You go down the head, 220, 230. Yeah, it's still a little warm. If I go to the inside, let me do it down on the block here. The bottom of the head. Still seeing 224, 219, 217. Let's see what the rest. Let's see the rest. So 175 on the intake. 184 I'm seeing. The hose 171, lower hose 165, 164 down there. The main part of the head, I'm getting 187, 190. It's just on the exhaust side that we're getting the warmer readings, and then I mean, I think that's understandable. If you go to the bottom of the head, I got 194, like right where Your sealing surfaces, I'm seeing 196, 199 down there. It's just this being up by the exhaust is going to be the hottest part. I still think we're within range, that I'm happy. Yeah, it's still staying right there. It's not getting any hotter than that. Okay, I'm accepting that. I think that's acceptable. As long as it doesn't go past like right where the halfway mark is, I'm fine with that. I did see online that with the sensor and a lot of people have put them on the intake manifold. With the head, it's more accurate, but it is 10 to 15 degrees higher on the head than what it's going to be on the intake. So last thing I'm going to do here is we're going to shut her down. We're going to check the oil and see. Did you like that? I'm going to give it a minute and let all these oils run down to where the dipstick is, and then we're going to check it, and hopefully now there may still be a hint smell of fuel because of me just changing it. Oh, let's shut the lights off too. Let's not drain the battery. My hope was that here in, okay, we go to, right after this, tomorrow, we leave early in the morning. We're going to Tennessee like we do every year. We're going to Gatlinburg. When I come back, I need to work on getting this thing legal, because then the following week is a car show where I work, and I want to take this in. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get this thing legal so I can drive it to work. So that means I have to go through, I got to get it registered, I got to get insurance put on it, and then I got to get it to pass the state inspection. And that one, I'm not too sure about. Not that I don't think it's an unsafe vehicle, I just not sure about some of the regulations, like the side pipes and stuff like that, if it's legal. So we'll find out then. The last time I checked the oil, which is since I did my oil change, it still had a hint of smell of fuel, but the level was still where I had it, and it still had, like, the viscosity still felt correct. Okay, it didn't feel thin at all, and that's what you want to feel. That's what you want to check for. Seems all right. It doesn't smell like fuel. This might be a thing that we're just gonna have to give it time to see how it turns out, but it's not real strong. Viscosity's still good. This is something we're gonna have to monitor. I can't remember if I put more in it or not. We're getting close to the full mark. It's still below the full mark, so I'll remember that now. It doesn't smell like fuel, so that might have been where I had it. I don't know. So I guess we'll keep an eye on her. Man, I hammered some bugs while I was out. What? Oh, that's nasty. What? Ew. Was that a snot bug? What is that? It's nasty. Ew. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this episode. We're nearing the finish of this thing, so if you like this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Hit that like button if you think this thing deserves a sub. Hit that dislike button if you think your mom deserves a sub. Foot long. Alright, now it's a 6. It's a 6. And we'll see you on the next episode on Wrecked. Kitties would be out when I came in. No, look at them, just chilling. Look at these hams. Look at them, just chilling. What are you doing, Sully? What are you doing? What's your toes doing? What are your toes doing? Look at Mr. Sheldon. What are you doing? Mr. Big Hands. Look at these things. Look at these thumbs. So don't touch them. You doing office work in Mommy's chair? You doing office work? Last but not least, the little girl. Do you want to say bye-bye to the people? Do you want to say bye-bye? That's a negative. Bye-bye.